Hey, this is Ed Pozzuoli at Trip Scott with another webcast. Today we're fortunate enough to have Terry Stiles, CEO of the Stiles Company, and Stiles is known as Florida's most trusted real estate provider. But today we're talking to Terry about his involvement through the Broward Workshop and the Port Everglades advocacy team around the port and the port projects. Terry, welcome.
Thank you, Ed.
Talk to me about that there are three different projects going on at the port. Describe them for us.
Basically, there's three distinct projects. One is the ICTF, which is the Intermodal Cargo Transfer Facility. It's a joint venture with the FEC and the port, where we'll actually be able to now load our cargo trains directly from the ships. It's a huge improvement over what is there today, because today they actually stage these trains close to State Road 84, which, if you've ever been there, bogs up our traffic.
Yeah.
And they will now be able to actually stage 5 trains at one time. It's been a huge venture with the state of Florida. They funded the flyover to allow the trains to get directly into Port Everglades, and it's actually under construction. The second major project is the increasing of the size of the turning basin, which will give us 5 new berths for ships that we actually handle today. So it'll give us an immediate hit to the way we can handle probably our major trading partner, which is South America.
Are those cargo ships and cruise ships?
No, these are just cargo ships. Correct. And then the third mega project is the deepening and widening of our harbor. Miami's already been funded to do their deepening and widening. Jacksonville is in queue to get their funding, and we are in the process of getting our funding. Unfortunately, we've been in this process for 17 years. We've had some movement in the last 12 months. We're now waiting for the Chief's report from the Corps of Engineers, which has been somewhat bogged down by some of the environmental issues that need to be mitigated, which is part of the process. And then also the fact that the timing of such, we were hoping to get involved in the WARTA bill, which would allow us to have our funding. Fortunately, we got an addendum put into the WARTA bill that we can fund our own design and engineering up front and then get paid back as our matching dollars later.
Gotcha.
Where it is in that process right now, there's a committee studying the WARTA bill with this amendment. And that amendment is not just for Port Everglades, it's for all the disaster areas or all the other core areas in the country. So it'll allow them to go forward with their projects even though they weren't included in today's WARTA bill. Then hopefully within 24 months, a new WARTA bill will come out that'll fund our project, then we can actually recap our matching dollars that we've put up earlier.
So the three projects that are the two that are going on now at the port, right? The turning and the cargo facility and the turning basin, as well as this potential project that appears that will give some local control and then being funded later with federal dollars. Why are these projects so important?
Well, it's going to keep us competitive. Everybody's targeted the completion date of the widening. It's actually a new canal, the Panama Canal, which will allow these mega ships, and they call them post-Panamax ships. They're the mega freighters that you see pictures of. Right now, we can receive them, but they can only come in half loaded due to our depth and also the widening of our harbor. So we need to get competitive with the other ports. If we are not competitive with them, then not only we will not get new jobs, we will lose the jobs we have today. The port is a huge economic driver for our community. We need to stay ahead of the game, so to speak, and this will allow us to do that. And so it's a big focus of what the Broward Workshop's focusing on, as well as many of our state legislators. We've had great response from our legislative groups. We need to make them more aware of it on a federal level, probably. So we need all the people to get out and post their opinions as to how important Port Everglades is to our county.
So we'd ask everybody who's watching this to do so.
We definitely need to have them know that the public's looking at this project as a very important element to our future of our county.
Now, Port Everglades, the fact it's locale to the airport, as well as the intermodal cargo transfer project that's going on now, how does that make us? Does it make Port Everglades unique?
Well, the cruise to airport proximity really makes us unique. I mean, we are very close to be able to transfer our airplane passengers to our cruise ships.
And it directly impacts the ability for us to draw quality cruise lines to Port Everglades.
Right. I think right now we're operating 11 cruise ships. We're the second largest in the world today. But more importantly, people don't understand is we are the only petroleum port in South Florida. Port Everglades is the only port that brings in gasoline, and all the petro products. And we have 3 major pipelines that feed Miami International Airport, Fort Lauderdale International Airport, West Palm Beach, and soon to be Southwest Regional. So we need to have these bigger ships because it's not just freight, it's oil tankers as well that will become in these mega tanker sizes. And so if we don't have our port deepened and widened, we're going to jeopardize our growth because this will allow us to distribute more petroleum.
So it's not just passenger cruise or cargo, it's actually energy to the region.
It's energy to the region, and it's not just the airports. It's your car, my car.
Right.
It's everything. It's the buses. If something went happen to our port, we would be drastically crippled here.
You mentioned the two projects are ongoing today, and the third project. When it would be the earliest that project could start?
Probably early 16 with completion, hopefully in 17. It's really going to depend on whether or not we can proceed with this amendment on the water bill.
Okay.
Because that'll allow us to start today with our engineering and our design. And we actually do some of the construction work, but it's kind of tough to get that reimbursed. It's a lot easier to get the design and engineering back. So that could start right away. So everybody's targeting 217. Some people think that's a little bit optimistic. But that's the date we'd like to hit.
By that time, will people see the completion of the new airport runway?
The airport will be done by the end of 2015.
Okay, so we'll have plenty of time for that.
We'll have plenty of time for that. And the other thing, that's huge for our community as well.
Right.
That will bring in a lot more international flights. And people say, what does that mean? A lot more tourists? Well, not necessarily. It means that we'll become even more of an important city to become an international hub for companies that want to service South America and Central America. So the more flights we can get to these international cities, the more competitive we are with recruiting new companies to our
So
community.
international businesses would look to Fort Lauderdale potentially, or more likely to look to Fort Lauderdale for a headquarters somewhere in and around Fort Lauderdale or Broward County.
Because one of their main things they look at is proximity to airports.
Right, to get there.
Yes.
Terry, well, we appreciate the effort on behalf of, the workshop. I know the workshop has worked diligently, your subcommittee and the Transportation Committee, as well as the team specifically for Port Everglades. We certainly appreciate your community involvement and your continued support for all of Broward County. And Terry, thank you again.
Thank you, Ed.